Hi YouTube, it's your girl Javina Love. I wanted to give you a more in-depth video on the PerriconeMD Foundation that I received from Influencer for review. Now, this is a $60 foundation, and at first I was very skeptical, and I made a lot of mistakes, and now I have been using it now for over a month, and I thought, let me show you that, it has all these beneficial things going on in it that totally, really made me look more youthful. I've seen a big difference in my skin and a big difference in my makeup routine using this serum, because I don't have the foundation. I have the foundation serum, and so it's a little different than foundation with all the helpful benefits. So to get started, I have prepped my skin already. I put a smock on because, I can't deal with fallout. And what I like to do is I use one of these little pans from the Dollar Tree for painting, and I like to put in my products I'm going to use, as far as, not making it wasteful, not having it, contaminated, because it is in a dropper. It is in a beautiful glass dropper, and I don't want to drop it. I want to be careful. I am worth the $60, and I want to make sure that, it's not being wasted. So I like to put a few drops in my pan to have that started, and get a clean brush, which I have spent all night cleaning, my beautiful Farrah brushes, and we're going to get started. So I'm not very big on contouring, but I'm going to contour this because this foundation is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. So to start, they tell you to have, start with a small amount and put them in little circles all around your face, and then we're going to work our way out. Okay, so I'm just going to dab, 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 a little bit all over in my T-zone area to start, and then I'm going to work it in little small circles out to the other end of my skin. I'm working in natural light outside because I prefer natural light so I can see what I'm looking like, in the daytime, because honestly, working in a shadowed bathroom or in a house, it's great. I'm sorry I have to deal with the road too, but if you're going to get ready with me, basically this is where I'm getting ready, is outside in my backyard. I prefer the natural light. Okay, so I'm just rubbing it all around in little circles to the end of my face, starting it in the center, like I said, and working your way out. I don't know if you can see that very good, but it blends out beautifully. In the beginning, I was more worried about the patchiness of it, but I had to try it in several different ways with different setting powders, setting sprays. Definitely do not want to put an oil product on your skin, oil serum or primer, when you're starting this foundation. It will just rub off and transfer off your skin onto your clothes. You want to put it down your neck. Now, I got these brushes for $15 on Ipsy, through Ipsy, and that is a steal. You get 7 brushes. Let me see. I have 5 brushes. So you get the Farrah 302, which I'm using for the foundation. You get a Farrah 250F, which I prefer to use for my powders, setting powders. You have a Farrah 180. You got a fluffy brush with the tapered end, 265. And you get the 45E, which is a flat shader brush, and this big floofy, number 50F. Now, brushes, everybody worried about, the best brush, that brush. I'm not worried about the best brush or that brush. You work with what's good for you. So if you've got a drugstore brush, like I have a very cute Face One cosmetic eyeshadow brush that I got from my local Dollar Tree, And I use this one for my concealers because it's a really nice synthetic brush for that. So, and in fact, I didn't even use as much of the foundation as I dripped in my pan, which I'm learning, trying not to waste too much of it. I put it all over my eyes, under my eyes, dab it in, and blend it in out from the center. Make sure you get around your nose good. Alright? And that's it for that. That's just your foundation serum base. Now, I'm going to contour with the same brush, and I'm going to use this Maybelline Kush foundation. It comes with a nice little spongy brush, and has a cushy on the inside, and a nice mirror. What I do is I just dab my brush in there. Sometimes if I want to get it more precise, I would use the little sponge that comes with it, but mostly it's easier for me to just get my contour this way, since I just started contouring, to make sure this foundation sets in properly. Now I can't contour bronzers because it's just a little too shiny for me, and sometimes they're very matte and they don't match my skin tone at all, or they match too exact to my skin tone. But because I'm using such a light foundation, this one works out really nice, and I hope you guys can see this. I am working on my phone. I'm not up on game and got cameras, you know, beautiful cameras and all that. I did in the beginning. I had a nice flip camera, but now I'm working back to basics. I don't find any reason why not to be back to basics. So I'm gonna go down the nose and under my chin a little bit, scope out my face, and blend it in well. What I like to keep by my side are some very simply clean baby wipes. Okay? And that way I can keep wiping my brush off as I go along and keep it nice and clean. Because you don't know when you're going to have to dip in this brush again. And you don't want to have to, you know, have a dark streak on you. And since all I did was lay down the color on my nose, I'm going to have to wipe my brush off to blend it out so it doesn't take up all my foundation. Can somebody tell me, why is there copyright issues when, if we use music on YouTube and you own your own, like I have my little Amazon Prime, and I want to listen to my little music and have, so you guys aren't hearing me just talk and ramble the whole time, why did they start taking that off? Ridiculous. Now, I'm going to use my beautiful Estee Lauder foundation in 6W1. It's my powder foundation. It also came with a nice little sponge applicator, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the Estee Lauder fluffy foundation brush that I purchased for it. And then we're just going to set this a little bit around, warm up my skin. So it blends everything out beautifully. And I don't look like a ghost, because I am colored. This will give me a little suntan kiss with the foundation. That's what I really like about this foundation powder, pressed powder, because it's a little bit closer to my skin tone than the Permacare. I must have been really light when they sent me the Permacare, because they sent it to me in golden medium, and it's a beautiful color, but as you see, I had to deepen it up just a little bit because now it's becoming summer, and that's what I needed to do to get this foundation really in there. And as you see, it's not too cakey, not too flaky, as long as you use it, and the more you use it is what I'm seeing. It's changing my skin. Now, I'm quite mature for my age. Excuse me, I'm 41. I'm not gonna lie about that. And I'm a makeup loving enthusiast, so I needed to use some makeup that was a little bit more mature for me. But as far as my eyeshadow goes, I had to pull one from the vault. I pulled out this cute little boombox out of my collection that came out a few years ago. And it's got all these also beautiful shades. It's got a really big mirror. I don't want to blind you. And then you've got all these wonderful shades in there. So, there we go. Breaking stuff. And it's got all these beautiful shades. Isn't that lovely? And I have been playing with this palette now, even though I haven't dipped into it too many times, because it is limited edition. And I'm the limited edition queen, but I have learned hoarding limited edition isn't loving my limited edition. So I have to use it. And so I'm going to do a very simple, bright, warm look today. And I'm going to go in with this beautiful red. And I'm going to go in with the pink. I like to dip into both of them. With my other Farrah fluffy brush, a 35E brush that we got in Ipsy a few months ago. So I'm going to mix both of these colors. To do that, oh, going too fast, right? I didn't prime. I didn't prep my eyes. I need to do that before I just jump on in there. And I'm going to use an actual MAC paint pot that's really close to my shade. It's a sample worth of it. And it lasts a long time, the sample worth of it. But I also kept it very fresh in here because I'm dipping in it and didn't want to keep dipping into my paint pot. No contamination. Also, your makeup will last a lot longer if you get a few little jars and things and little spoons and dip it in there. So I'm going to use my flat Dollar Tree brush that I told you. And I'm going to prime my eyes. Ooh, a little hair from one of my brushes came off. And put that all over my lid. Now, I really love working outside when it's not this hot. And it's only early morning, but it's still kind of hot. So I'm starting to sweat. But it's okay. We got some beautiful locking mechanisms to help with that, right? I'm also an oily combination type girl, so my forehead gets oily. Under my eyes get a little oily. And then the rest will kind of dry out around my mouth. So I have to be careful. Alright, now that I have my paint pot on the eye, I'm going to dab it in to blend it in just a little bit. Keep it a little tacky. Right? And blend it out. It matches my skin tone really, really close to my skin tone, which I like that. Now I want to try something a little different today. So first I'm going to do, as I said, put the red and the pink together on my fluffy brush. And we're going to put that in our crease. And blend it upwards. You see that? It's not too dark, not too light. I've always been very festive when it comes to colors, and I'm not scared to use them. That's one of the things I really love about MAC, because they make sure that you can get a pop of color and not be scared to use it. And it's very blendable and buildable all at the same time. So I'm just going to keep dipping back and forth in that color and try to build this up the way I really want it. And it's going to look like a basic day-to-day look. That way it's very easy to wear. It's not a club look. Now if you want to do a club look, I would suggest you dip back in here with a little bit stiffer brush. When it's real fluffy like this brush, you get just a touch of color. I don't want to waste it. You know, it's limited edition. They only come out once in a year. You gotta preserve it, because the only way you're gonna get a new one is by going on Amazon or something, some weird place that's not gonna give you the same, or you get a dupe. And I'm not duping nothing. So now, I'm going to use my Farrah 265, and I'm going to dip into this richer purple color at the bottom here, just to deepen up my crease a little bit on the outer. Ooh, that's dark and pretty at the same time. Right there, and blend it outwards into my crease, and a little bit on the lid. Kind of smoke it out. That's exactly what I want. I mean, it's one dip of the brush, and this is such a pigmented palette. I love the fact it's so pigmented, and it's got a nice shade range of mattes and shimmers. So I put a couple shimmers, but all these are mattes except for the pink that I use. And now, whoop, give me a second. Just dropping brushes, throwing them everywhere. This is my Besenti brush that we just got this month in April from Ipsy, and it's a contour eyeshadow brush. You see that? With a little cute taper it in. And I'm gonna go in with something a little bit glowy, so I'm gonna use this gold right here. The bottom gold, the middle gold. And I'm gonna tap this on the lid. I'm not gonna tap the brush off because I want to press it into my lid and get it all in there instead of it being like a fallout situation. And blend it out just enough